All right, welcome everybody to the Client Support Webinar for March 22nd, 2023. Great to have everybody here. This is a webinar for you all right? Basically, it's a half an hour long, and we cover, hopefully, topics of interest to you, as well as answer any particular questions. Anybody attending for the first time? Anybody attending for the first time? Okay, good. So we got a couple. Okay, so just a couple things here. To communicate with me, there's a questions window in the webinar software, so definitely find that and type in any questions that you want, and then I will see those. And then also there's a chat area here. Sometimes we put links in there, and I'm going to bring Jean on, and she's going to talk a little bit about Wednesday Night Live tonight, so she'll do that. And also she'll put some links up there to our books as well. All right, well, Jean, I guess I'll turn it over to you real quick, okay?
Well, terrific. Well, great to see everyone here. Lots of friendly faces in our room. Do me a favor, everybody, and just type a hello in the questions area. That just lets me know that, yes, you can hear the audio and you can also see Bennett's webinar screen. And as Bennett said, you can type questions for him there. And he loves questions, and this is a seminar for you. This is a workshop for you where you get to ask questions and get those questions answered. And thank you so much, Ashok, and good to see you. And Terry, great to see you too. Tonight we have a webinar, our Wednesday Night Live webinar, which we hold every month, once a month on the fourth Wednesday. And it starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. And tonight's event is going to be terrific because we're covering the art trading software. And I know you all have seen Bennett use that, and it's really important to have good tools. So he's going to show you exactly how that works. So come join us. The link is in the chat area. And if you can't attend live, when you register, you'll also get the recording. One more thing I did want to mention is we've got a great event every Friday. That's free. It's on YouTube, and I'm posting a link for that. And the event is called Stock Analysis Fridays. And Bennett goes over your picks. Basically, bring your picks, and he'll analyze them and tell you good entries and exits and all that other good stuff. And also while you're there, join the YouTube channel, because then you'll get automatic reminders of any new content that's posted. All right, well, Bennett, I think that's all. I'll throw it back to you.
Okay, thanks, Jean. Yeah, so Wednesday Night Live actually is going to be really good tonight. We're going to talk about the art software, but we're also going to make a special announcement about it as well. So you may want to check it out. And that Jean will put the link up there in the chat area for you to register if you haven't already. All right, so Jean, put a link up there for the books too, because I'm going to get to that in a minute, if you wouldn't mind, okay? First thing I have to cover, of course, are the risks involved in trading. There are risks. Past performance does not guarantee future performance. There are no guarantees in trading the markets. We work in a realm of probabilities. And before actually implementing any of the ideas or even the stock recommendations that we may talk about here, you definitely want to run those by your financial advisor who knows your personal situation. I don't, they do, so definitely a good idea. Now, if you need help with risk control, all right, we can help you with that. We have a great book that came out last year, Money Management for Traders. It's very inexpensive. My goal for that book was to take the concepts in my more comprehensive book called The Trader's Money Management System, strip it down, make it inexpensive so people could actually afford the book and dive into what's important on implementing risk control into your trading program. If you're not using risk control, bye-bye, okay? It'll be about 6 months before you're out of business. So definitely implement risk control. I think many of you already do that. I'm coming out with the second edition of The Art of Trading. It's going to be a really good, informative book. Nothing really like the first book. Yeah, we're taking it to the next level. We've got a lot of new chapters, new concepts in that book, as well as talking about the new software since the last book. Really excited about it. It'll be out later this year. And on the link Gene posts in the chat area, you can pre-order the book, and that will probably give you the best price you can get. And then I have other books you can check out there as well. The software tools that we use and implement are basically come in 3 types of strategies. One strategy is the charting software. That is how we determine entries, exits, scale outs, risk, and so forth, where to put our stops for risk control. Second tier down in the middle are our scanners of how we find things to trade. And then the final column on the bottom is all about risk control and record keeping. So when you combine the software as a bundle, it truly is the ultimate trading system. All right, so let's come at it here. The topic I kind of want to ask you guys here is kind of along the lines of, I wanted to ask you, what do you think the hardest part of trading is? What do you think the hardest part of trading is? All right, and while I'm waiting for that, Kenneth is asking, some traders don't believe in overbought, oversold. Do you? If so, what indicator? I actually don't believe it, Ken. I think the market, the price of the market is where it is because that is the reality of where people are actually trading at that particular price. So markets are fairly efficient, so they're not going to be much gaps in what people are willing to pay for and buy a particular stock, futures, or whatever. They're going to trade it at that price at that given time. Okay, so markets really aren't really overpriced or underpriced. That's more of a fundamental type of analysis for the most part. Now, there's certain price patterns that we look at and certain statistical things we look at to indicate if there should be profit taking coming in. Now that is different than what really you're asking. What you're really asking is a market overbought and oversold, and I never know. Because if you look at all big markets, which actually is a great question because it's going to lead into another area, how do you know when to get out of a market? How do you let your winners run? If a market is overbought based on whatever your thinking is, then obviously you're going to get out of that market. And there may be some temporary profit taking, but then the market could resume and go much higher. All right, so don't distinguish, there's profit taking and then there is prices at which people aren't willing to pay anymore. Okay, and I think, you know, the labeling of overbought, oversold is just that, it's a label. Markets trade because that's what people are willing at the current price because that's what people are willing to buy and sell at. If they weren't, the market price would change. Okay, so it's kind of interesting. Now, people's perception of value comes into play, and that is profit taking and so forth. So value is different. So when you go to a car dealer, for example, and you buy a car, all right, you value the car a lot more than the money you're willing to give the car dealer. The car dealer values the money more than the car. So they're willing to give you the car for the money. That's a trade. That's what trading is. It's no more complex than that. I value the stock at a certain price if I buy it more than somebody selling it to me. Okay? And it can depend on a variety of different circumstances. Maybe they bought it really cheap and they need the money, so they are selling it, all right? But the actual trade is taking place at the exact price in which the buyer and the seller are willing to make the exchange or the trade, okay? So kind of important. Does that make sense? Great question, Ken. Great question. Well, the revision to the mean really means it's a statistical analysis, right? And so if prices, let's talk about that. So let's say you buy Tesla at $2. Okay, it runs up to $10 really quick, pulls back to the mean, and then goes up again. So that really has nothing to do with being overbought and oversold. It has everything to do with profit taking and the value of what people perceive Tesla to be at that given moment. So in other words, if you get out of Tesla and want to take your profit, that means you want the money more than you want the stock at that time. However, once Tesla pulls back and starts to go, okay, you may perceive it again as a buy and then make another transaction at that point to get back in. But it really has nothing to do, the actual price at which it trades has nothing to do with overbought and oversold, because the price of the trade is occurring at that time. So I look at it as two different aspects, statistical and the reality of price and value is what we're really talking about. And I think it's generically labeled. People generically label statistical variations from the mean as overbought and oversold. I just don't like that terminology because a lot of times it means the current price at which it's selling. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so Jeff is talking about stops can be a capital destruction mechanism if there is not an effective plan to get back in. Sure. Okay, absolutely. Of course, not using stops can be a capital destruction plan as well. All right, so you have to use them in short-term trading. What other things are difficult? Why is it so difficult to let your winners run? Why is it so difficult to let your winners run? Fear, right? You experience it on all time frames. And this is where the pyramids really come in to help here, because the funny thing about the pyramids is, in order to effectively use them, you have to allow the market to pull back for them to form, okay? So when you start trailing stops up, all right, they're up under the pyramids. And yet, and this is all time frames, and yet 9 times out of 10, if you get out of a market too early, and I've done this as well, I do this in the day trading room a lot, 9 times out of 10, when you get out of the room too early, okay, or get out of the stock too early, sorry, get out of the stock too early, it's because of fear. All right, your fear, it's going to pull back on you. But if you relied on the pyramids, they usually do a much better job of keeping you in that market for as long as possible. So when you're trading a trend, in order to let your profits run, you have to have a system in which allows for those pullbacks, and yet at the same time, all right, doesn't allow for too much of a pullback, that you give all your profits away. So it's kind of important when you let your winners run, you have to be able to stay with that position. And that is a really hard thing to do, I think, for all of us, because the emotions are to take the quick profit or take the logical profit. So in other words, if I get in at $10 and the stock goes to 20, you know, my logical brain already is starting to say, oh, you doubled your money already, get out. Yet, when I look at the pyramids, they might say, don't get out, stay in, but put your stop here, because you really never know where prices, how high prices could eventually go. All right, so kind of an interesting thought, and we're going to cover this more in this afternoon's Wednesday Night Live. We're going to cover comparisons of the pyramids versus moving averages and things like that for your stops. So I think you're going to like that. But yeah, good point all the way around. Good feedback on that. So let me ask another question. How many people out there are using TradeStation? How many people using Ninja? How many people using eSignal? Boy, split across the board. Wow. Okay. How many people use multi-charts, out of curiosity? Anybody out there using multi-charts? On NinjaTrader, those using NinjaTrader, how many people, what data providers are you using? I'd be interested in knowing that. And on those using TradeStation, what markets don't you get that you wish you did on TradeStation? Like, I think all the Bitcoins, you're getting all those and things like that. All right. And let me know if you're having any problems connecting to the data provider. All right, so let's see what people are saying. All right, so TD Ameritrade, which fuels the TOS, quite a few people are using that, and that seems to be working okay, good. Anybody using bar chart or any other broker data into their NinjaTrader platform? All right, interesting. Yeah, TradingView we're not programmed for. We find that kind of a funny little platform. Some people that use it say they would never trade with it, which I don't understand why. Okay, it looks pretty good to me, but I'm not sure what the deal is on that. I don't know if it's a data problem or what they're having over there, but if you can tell me if you like it or not, let me know. But it's kind of, I've heard some good feedback and negative feedback, so I'm not sure about that. Not a lot of people use it that we know, so it doesn't pay for us to really program to a platform where there's not many users. Okay. How about data on TradeStation? How has that been lately for you guys? Any problems with the data in TradeStation? Good. That seems to be okay, right? All right, Ken said do you still use TradeStation, Ken, or did you used to use it? Still use it, okay. And what kind of issues have you had on that? Software upgrades are tough. What kind of software upgrades? You mean the TradeStation application itself? Versions in TradeStation? I haven't heard that before. What kind of issues were you having? Anybody else have those? Usually I just start TradeStation, log in, and it does the update. Sometimes I have to restart it, but it's no big deal for me anyway. So I don't know what that, what issues, maybe yours is something different, I don't know. Oh, indicators from third parties. Yeah, the problem with a lot of that is some of the feedback we hear on that is interesting. Now, some third-party people do a really good job of keeping their software updated for the platforms. We certainly are hot on that. Okay, we're pretty good on that. Now, if it's a major update, it may take us a little while because we test it, but we always make sure our software is updated at ASAP when we need to. Many times we don't need to. Many times they just make a change and, you know, it doesn't affect our software. A lot of third-party indicators, all right, from what I hear, and I'm not going to mention names, are terrible about that. And the problem is, you know, it takes them 6 months to update their software. That does you a lot of good, right? So I don't understand that. I don't understand how they can do that. But I do hear a lot of people do not upgrade it. In fact, a lot of people, I remember when TradeStation went to its current version from 9.5, that people were afraid to update because their third-party vendors didn't have an update for that. And we really planned for that so we could roll it over real easy. So I don't know what they're thinking. Same thing with NinjaTrader. All right, a lot of people have NinjaTrader 7 and still installed and are scared to go to 8 because some of their third-party indicators haven't updated yet. Hello? I mean, really? You know, how many years has that been? Okay. So I find that amazing that they aren't on that quickly. So interesting. Because we have a programmer, you know, right, ready, and available that is ready to jump on this stuff. So I don't know, but we've been doing it a long time. You know, we've been in business since 1998. So we've been doing that. This isn't our first rodeo, as they say. So we got the systems in place to handle it. Any other issues with any of the platforms that you find? How do you like the new Ninja 8.1? I'm still on the, I got to upgrade mine. I haven't done it yet because I have to create a login. It's a little different how they did it. I just haven't gotten around to it. But we've installed a ton of people on the 8.1. Our software works great on that, so we did not need to do an update on that at all. We did look into it, research it, but we didn't find any issues on it at all. So you're clear to install on 8.1. And definitely belong to our forum, okay? We have a forum in the Customer Hub area. Now, when I say Customer Hub, do you guys know what I mean by that? Just out of curiosity. When I say log into Customer Hub, you know what that means, right? Customer Hub is our client support area. So when you buy something from us or get a course or software, what we do is we automatically enroll you in our VIP client area because that's where all our services are, you know. And what we keep in there is our course material, which is available 24/7 to you, lifetime, okay? Software download area is in there. So definitely kind of become familiar on how to get around there. So whenever I say Customer Hub, that's the same thing as the VIP client portal, okay? Okay, oh, I love breakout trades too. They're my best. In fact, my main trading, for those of you that know us, all right, is always a breakout trade, isn't it? It's always trying to get in after a bottom or get short after a top. And so when you're trying to get short after a top, it's usually after an Elliott wave 3 to see if wave 4 is tradable, but you got to get in early, or maybe after the end of wave 5, right? So in the ART system, for example, if you notice here, all right, here's a breakout emerging right here, okay? So breakout here and here, all right? Now we've got the green on the owl. So this is a trade you can take. And here's your pyramid for the breakout right there. And you're taking out everything here. So this is a green on all 3 time frames, okay? So breakout trading is a specialty of the ART system. And we really primarily try to get into trends as early, and breakouts is how we do it. And how we find them is through the turbo scanner, okay, up here. Okay, so the turbo scanner actually is locating different markets. This happens to be the crypto, and by the way, crypto, GBTC. All right, I don't want to tell you what to do, but I think that answers the question. Breakout market. We were in a long time ago. We were in very early in January on this one, and that was thanks to the 60-minute time frame using the ART system on the breakout. All right, so I think GBTC has formed a major bottom, and this is just going to take off from here. But that's me. Do your own research, check with your financial advisor, but I think that's a home run. You know, when we first recommended it was, I think $9, $8 and something, and now we're up with double the money already, but we're not getting out. Okay, stay with it. But on the turbo scanner, what this is going to do is it's going to locate bracketed markets. Like here it is running on a 1-minute time frame, bracketed markets. When we look for those bracketed markets, if it finds a breakout, it will list it as a breakout. I don't see any there. But that's how we find, that's how we scan the stocks, the universe of stocks in order to locate markets that are breaking. Sometimes you can have a bracketed market in a correction, like a wave 2 and a wave 4. So we never know exactly until we look at the chart where the breakout is occurring within the Elliott wave. But it definitely alerts us to that. And some breakouts are better than others for trading. So for me, I like to look for stocks early, get in early, whether it's a bottom or a possible short. I do not like to get in stocks that are in a mature part of the trend. And that is one of the problems I've always found with sector analysis software, is by the time the sector analysis software tells me things are good, all the stocks are near the end of their trend. So it never really did me much good. In fact, so I like to scan for markets that are bracketed or breaking out, because big trends come from those. And then I like to look at the Elliott wave to see if we're near the end of a big move, so I can put that on a watch list to get ready to go the other way, or if it's in the beginning of an impulsive move and therefore not too late to join. So that type of thing. So that's how I do it, and I do love breakout markets. That's people that know me. That's the way I trade, and I do that on day trading too. All right, great questions. Anybody else? How many people are in crypto right now? Just out of curiosity. And while I'm waiting for that, how about people taking courses? Do you have any question on the courses? Because, you know, we have options courses, we have Elliott wave courses, you know, basic trading courses, more advanced trading courses. Any questions on any of that material? You know, we have the risk to reward calculator. That's this thing running over here. One thing I will say on the risk to reward calculator, what I like to do, notice how I squished my charts enough so I allow a little space for the risk to reward calculator to sit at. And the reason I do that is because if you put it here and you click on the chart, it'll get hidden. You see, it's right behind the chart. So a lot of people lose their trade size calculator because it gets hidden by their chart sometimes. So make a little space for it and swirl it over here. And, you know, on Ninja, that's just making the chart smaller. But on TradeStation, for example, if I open TradeStation up, you just move the whole platform. Just squish the whole platform like you do any Windows window, and make a little space over to the right on it, okay? Same type of thing. And here it is enlarged, but if you space it out, move it over a little bit like this, and then pull it down, you can make a little space for it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, GBTC, Jeff, is going to be really good. I'm really excited about that. I gotta reposition this a second. So, let's see what else here. So you guys using multiple time frame analysis? All right, let's see. This is an interesting question from Ken. Can fibs be an Elliott wave light? Don't know what that means. What's an Elliott wave light? Never heard that term before. Simple. Can fibs be a simple Elliott wave? We use the fibs on waves 2 and waves 3, fib retracements. You know, there's anchoring points. So I really don't know how you would call those light. So in other words, when you have a trend up here, starting here, there's your breakout. All right, your pullback on wave 2 can't go below wave 1. So then when you start moving up here, all right, now you know you're in wave 3. All right, and so then you get to wave 3 and that starts to break. And at this point here, you know where wave 2 is. You have a pretty good idea of wave 3. Wait for the owl to go red to confirm wave 4, and then you anchor your fibs here and here, and that'll give you the target for wave 4. And that's for fib retracements. And then wave 4 is over. You wait for the owl to turn green. You wait for it to hit the target, and then it moves back up, and that's where you use your third anchoring point for the fib extensions for wave 5. Okay, but I don't know what you mean by simple. Never heard it described that way. In fact, I think Jean sends out, if you're on our mailing list, I think she sends out a thing, like a cheat sheet on how to draw these. So you probably definitely check that out. Okay. All right. Well, I don't see any more questions coming in. So I guess we'll call it a day. We've been on for what, half an hour, so I don't like to take too much of your time. But if you do have any last minute questions, feel free to ask. Wonderful having everybody on here. Great turnout today. Hope everybody is doing good. Looks like interest rates will be interesting to see. We're getting close to the interest rate hike here today. Probably a quarter point, 25 basis points. We'll see. And market right now is down 117. So it's probably kind of waiting for that. John, how are you? We were up $890 yesterday as it ended up. I posted the results for the day trading room. Yeah, so John's one of our day traders, and we had a wild day yesterday. Yeah, so I was in the NQ, you were in the ES, right? So both of those in the equity realm, okay? So they both ended up really taking off. So we ended the 2-hour session both long on the equities, and it ended up real good. All right, so we were down a couple thousand and then up a couple thousand, but we ended the day right around, I think, 890 to the upside. So not too bad. We did get wiggled out though of a couple of those positions. If we held those, we could have even done better. But in any case, not a bad day. Right, meet you at Gibson's, exactly. Gibson, the steakhouse in Chicago is what he's referring to. By the way, the day trading room is a lot of fun. All right, if you like day trading and you have the time, You should join that room. We have a blast in there, and you're going to learn a lot too. It's really a good time. You know, we trade these smaller time frames down here on the MNQ and the ES, and we trade the Dow, micro Dow, E-mini futures, NASDAQ micro, ES micro, gold micro, Russell 2000 micro, which is the M2K, and then the gold micro. Those are the markets that we look at when we day trade. Very, very fun. All right. Well, you guys have a great one, okay? And we'll see you back here next week. And bring your questions. Anything that comes up, write them down. We'll be glad to address them here. Okay. All right. Well, have a good week. All right. Keep an eye on the interest rates today.
So Ben, I just put a link in. Jerry's asking about the futures day trading room, and Jerry, I just put a link in the chat, and there's a good savings link there for you.
Oh, we'd love to have you, Jerry. We meet twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we run it for 2 hours on a 1-minute time frame, and it's a blast. So definitely join us. And as a subscriber, you get to see all our results too. We post our results up there.
Another good thing for Jerry is he has the ART training software, and he can really see how you use it. So that'll be great training.
That's good to know. What charting platform, Jerry? Doesn't matter, but just always interested in to know. We have people using TradeStation in there, Ninja, you know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, you're set then. All right, so good, perfect. All right, so yeah, I think you'd really love it. You know, if you got the time to spend being in the room there for 2 hours on Tuesday, Thursday, you're going to find it very worth your while. All right, everybody, have a great one, okay? We'll see you back here next week. Thanks so much for coming. Really good turnout today. All right, so take care. We'll see you next week. Oh, and I put the recording up in our YouTube page. So definitely become a member on our YouTube page. Gene, put the link up for that, just so they can go and become a subscriber. So in the YouTube page, all right, we basically post the recordings for our client support, but they are hidden. Okay, you can't get to them unless you go through the VIP portal. So sign in, and then you'll see a special link in there that will take you right to the area on our YouTube page where you can access that. Okay. So Gene's going to grab the link. There it is. Okay, so if you click on that, let me just click on that, open it up. So this is what it looks like, okay? And we got tons of videos, okay? So you might want to check that out. Maybe my little holiday pictures. All right, so if you go to videos and playlists, okay, you'll see all the areas here, okay? And so here's a client support from a while back, all right? But those are hidden, so I have access to this, my channel, but in order to get to those, you'll have to use a link in there. But we also have something called Stock Analysis Friday, which is really cool, all right? And so this is an example of Stock Analysis Friday, where we go over stocks for the day. And then what we do is on the recording, if you come down here, okay, you can go to a stock, like here's EOS that we talked about. So it'll take you right to the stock, so you don't have to watch the whole damn thing to find out what interests you. Okay, so here's GBTC, which we were recommending. So the idea behind this is everybody shows up. They usually share 1 or 2 stocks, and you walk away with a bunch of trades, possible trades, okay? So it's kind of cool. And then we also spend a little time looking at some of the day trading charts as the market's unfolding. Okay, that's kind of how we work it. So it's really fun, all right? So, and that's free, okay? That's Stock Analysis Friday. It's not the same as the day trading room. We don't do the actual trades here. It's just a quick, brief look over, all right? But on the individual stocks, we do analyze it so you guys can take a look and see. And we do that live every Friday. So I'd love to have you there. But you do have to subscribe to the channel to get there. All right, so we'll see you next week. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good one.